The 7-round mock draft you're about to watch first aired on our Cowboys YouTube channel. So if you're a Cowboys fan, we'll have the subscription link for you in the comments and description of today's show. But if you want general NFL draft videos, we have you covered here on our NFL Draft YouTube channel. Hit that sub button right now. Welcome back into the Cowboys Report. Tom Downey here. It is time for a new 7-round Dallas Cowboys mock draft. Look, Cowboys have 2 first-round picks. They're still waiting on a bunch of other moves to shake out before the draft comes in April, but we're going to hammer this because it's what you guys care about. The audience proved that time and time again with the views. So much like Christopher Walken, if you have a hankering for more mock drafts and not cowbell, show it by liking the video for me right now, whether it's, reaction to ESPN, Dane Brugler mock drafts, or maybe a mock draft with a bunch of trades next. Show it by liking the video, please, and thank you. As we mentioned on one of our videos on Tuesday, updated comp pick projections, all subject to change still. A 5th and a 6th comp pick, a 7th, which should be from the Chiefs, Cowboys' own 5th-round pick, their own 4th-round pick, for a round 1 pick via Green Bay, and, of course, their own 1st-round pick. 12 and 20 are the only actual locked-in draft pick slots that we know. Everything else is still projected based on the comp pick formula, etc. All right, diving into what the sim did. Went ahead and did the Pro Football Network consensus big board sim on this one. No surprise, Mendoza goes number 1. Caleb Downs goes 2. David Bailey goes 3. Ruben Bain goes 4, so not what you want to see if you're a Cowboys fan. Jordan Tyson, Carnell Tate, okay. Some receivers, well, Arvell Reese goes 7. That one stings. Jeremiah Love goes 8. Another receiver, Mikail Lemon, off the board at number 9. Peter Woods goes 10. Keldrick Falk goes number 11. So edge-heavy, wide receiver-heavy in round 1. Some notable players who were on the board. All the linebackers are there, led by Sonny Styles, C.J. Allen. All the corners are there. The top 2 tackles are on the board still, which I would be surprised if it actually happened that way come April, but it's the draft. Weird stuff happens, and Fano and Mauigoa. Cassius Howell is probably your next best edge. But in this mock draft, I'm going to take one of my guys. That is Mansoor Delane, the cornerback out of LSU. I am a huge fan of what Mansoor Delane did, not just this year at LSU, but in its time, briefly, at Virginia Tech as well, especially more so back in 2023. I get that the size and the length and maybe the speed isn't what the Cowboys typically prefer, but your job as a team is to simply draft the best player, and that's what Mansoor Delane is. He did not get beat in coverage. Why would we ignore that type of stuff? So unless he kind of tabers himself and runs like a 4.6 40-yard dash, he's going to be extremely high on my big board, and I would love for the Cowboys to add him in round 1. The numbers don't lie. He was targeted 35 times this past year at LSU. He allowed 13 catches. That's it in the SEC. Granted, LSU didn't always have the best team, but he played great on an individual level. I think this is a top-shelf talent in a class that I don't love overall, especially at the top. I would be all aboard Mansoor Delane at number 12. So who do you want to draft in round 1? Let me know in the comment section of today's show. Who do you want to pick? Go vote at the pinned comment. More sim picks. Glad I took a corner because they all went off the board quickly. Jerome McCoy is gone. Avion Terrell is gone. Spencer Fano goes to the Rams. Sonny Styles goes 15 to the Bucks, which I think actually makes a ton of sense. Terrell's gone. Caleb Banks goes 17. Okay, lines do some weird stuff. Caden McDonald goes 18. The edges are all off the board at number 19. And while I am a big proponent of going offense heavy or defense heavy in this draft, I did say at some point we would do what does the draft look like if you took an offensive tackle in round 1. So we're going to have the Francis Mauigoa conversation here. The offensive tackle out of Miami, who would be I think a plug-and-play, maybe even instant upgrade starter over Terrence Steele at right tackle. I know, and I think it is completely justified, to not want to spend another first-round pick on the offensive line because of the sheer volume of investment this team has done. So are you okay actually doing that? And if the answer is no, I get it. But go vote. Y for yes, N for no. There are some that think Mauigoa is going to be a guard in the NFL, and at times I think you saw that there was the one rep against Mikail Kamara in the CFP where Mauigoa got beat to the inside, just looked a little bit slightly slower than what you would prefer. But he also allowed a sack in week 1 against Notre Dame and week 4 against Florida, and then not again. Allowed like 3 quarterback hits after the first game of the season. Did allow 3 hurries against Ole Miss, but just the 1 QB hit against Indiana. Has been a really good run blocker, though it wasn't as good against Indiana. Then again, Miami kind of unlocked just running right behind the right guard, right tackle as things went along. I don't actually think he gets to you at 20. I think he's off the board, maybe not even there for you at 12, frankly. But if he's there at 20, you have to have that conversation. Others who are on the board, if you wanted an edge, I guess TJ Parker, Akeem Mesidor, next best guy. Caden Proctor, the tackle, was another option, but I get Evan Neal vibes. I'm kind of skittish there. If Mauigoa was gone, I would have taken CJ Allen. That would have been the my guys mock draft because I'm super high on Allen too. Brandon Cisse, and if you want to get weird with it, Kenyon Sadiq was there too. Your world changes when you bring a child into the world, especially if you have 2 like me. Suddenly you're thinking years ahead about childcare, school, the milestones you can't wait to see. And for me, part of living my family meant thinking about their future, even in the uncomfortable ways. Life insurance isn't a fun topic, but it's one you need to think about. And I'm so glad I found out about Ethos. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. In as little as 10 minutes, you can get a free quote and up to $3 million in coverage at ethos.com/NFL Daily. Ethos makes life insurance fast and easy, 100% online. As of March 2025, Business Insider named them the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider because there is no medical exam. You just answer a few simple health questions. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos now by going to ethos.com/NFL Daily. In as little as 10 minutes, you can get your free quote and up to $3 million in coverage at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That's ethos.com/NFL Daily. Ethos.com/NFL Daily. Application times may vary, rates may vary. Links in the comments section and the description of today's show. Round 4, pick 112. We're not going to do the who's on the board because, it's not the household names there. Anyone mad at me taking Jacob Rodriguez here? Again, I'm kind of ignoring the size and speed combo that the Cowboys have normally historically preferred, and I'm just drafting the good football players. That's what Jacob Rodriguez was as part of a really good Texas Tech defense this past year. Began his career at Virginia. He balled out. There's no way around it. 11 TFLs, bunch pass breakups, even had a defensive touchdown, had some offensive work too, which was kind of fun in their last-ditch Heisman Trophy effort there. Forced 7 fumbles this year. Don't overthink it. Just draft the good player. Sometimes it really is that simple. You can't have an entire team of outliers, but 1 or 2 isn't going to cause you any major issues. Let's get a safety here. Round 5, pick 150, DeShon Singleton, who I believe is going to be at the Senior Bowl this year. He got kind of benefited into some late eligibility for Nebraska this past season. Broke up some passes, 4 TFLs, 2 interceptions. This one, based on the listed size, is a little bit more in line of what the Cowboys historically like at their safeties. I thought he was very good for Nebraska on defense this past year. Offers some listed at 6'3", 210, which is, again, very good size to do some different roles at safety and maybe can be your Donovan Wilson replacement. And ideally, be a tight end eraser for you long term, even though it is a 5th-round pick, so it's dicey, but it's worth a shot there. Mikail Kamara, who maybe you saw in the championship game, having a nice game for Indiana, didn't have the same caliber of production on the stat sheet this year. The TFLs went way down. The sacks went way down. I would like to point out the pressure rate, which was really good in 2024, actually went up in 2025, which I think can be viewed as an indication of, hey, it'll be okay. He'll have closer to maybe 2023 sack production. It's a 5th-rounder. I think he's a good run defender, too. He fits pretty well in that regard. Offers special teams value. You're drafting on day 3. You're trying to find role players. I think Kamara can be a really good role player in the NFL. For more Cowboys draft coverage, you come to the right spot. Hit that sub button so you don't miss out. YouTube.com/CowboysTV. Maybe a name you haven't heard of, and that's Nadame Tucker out of Western Michigan, who originally began his career at Houston and basically did not get on the field. He hardly played at all at Houston. He transfers to the Mid-American Conference, and my God, what a season. The production that nobody really talked about because it's Western Michigan. They weren't that good of a team this year. 14.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, 21 tackles for loss, 19.3% pressure rate. I was very impressed by how he fared this past season for Western Michigan. I'm a sucker for the Mid-American Conference, guys. I know that the Cowboys might not be as intrigued anymore, and they kind of hinted at it with these smaller school players, but, Mel put him on the just miss list on his big board. This is a name to not ignore altogether. Final 7th round pick here, 225, Reggie Virgil, another Texas Tech kid, who also began his career kind of bookend here in the MAC with Miami of Ohio, my alma mater, was really good for the Red Hawks and didn't really miss a beat in his time at Texas Tech. The special teams angle will have to be better than like the limited reps we saw in college out of Virgil, but he was productive for the Red Raiders, despite, not the greatest quarterback play, if we're being honest there. I would not be surprised if, kind of like Jalen Brooks, kind of like Noah Brown, the Cowboys spend another 7th-round pick on a wide receiver. So before we go, grade this mock draft for me. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know in the comment section of today's show.